have taken their high-performance cars. Engines are tuned and tested. Drivers have taken their high-performance cars onto the high banks and put them through their paces. The air is charged, the excitement is building, and everybody's revved up. It's time for more stock car racing from Daytona International Speedway.
In celebration of NASCAR's 50th anniversary, CBS Sports presents the Gatorade 125s at Daytona.
A gray day at Daytona begins to diminish, perhaps buoyed by the enthusiasm of the fans gathering for the last two events of Speed Weeks, 1998 at the World Center of Speed. Good morning, everyone. Ken Squire with you. It's 10 a.m. Eastern, and the congregation is gathering as we prepare to crown the new royalty of racing. Today, here on CBS, first off, we'll show you the twin Gatorade 125s. Those are the qualifying races run this past Thursday that established the field for tomorrow's running of the $7 million 40th annual Great American Race, the Daytona 500. And shortly after noon today, live, it's the Napa 300. The would-be kings of NASCAR, the young stars coming up against some of the veterans. It's always a thriller, and today will be no exception, as Magic Shoes Mike McLaughlin will bring them down to the line. Joe Nemechek from Florida alongside for this big event. That's live later today, right here on CBS. And, of course, tomorrow, don't miss it, 12 noon. The Great American Race, the 40th annual Daytona 500, as only CBS does it. Be sure to be with us. This is going to be a barn burner, and what a story to begin the race. We've had 25 brother acts win the races in Winston Cup competition, but never a brother act on the front row for the Daytona 500. Bobby and Terry Labonte right there and ready for a go. It's going to be exciting. Hey, last night was exciting. This is the 50th anniversary of NASCAR, and at Daytona, USA, last evening, some of the men who have made history in this event gathered to be honored by Bill France Jr. The champions from the past, the fabulous 50 of NASCAR. Bobby Allison was there. And the Intimidator, 7-time winner Earnhardt. The new star, Jeff Gordon. Junior Johnson, the last American hero. The 7-time champion of this race, Richard Petty. And there are the Bakers. That's Buddy and Buck and our own Ned Jarrett there. Some of the all-time veterans, the men who gave texture and style to this form of racing for one night in one place. It was a very, very special moment here in Daytona, and those people are being celebrated throughout the week here. Well, coming up, the excitement of that first 125-mile qualifying race, all the intensity here. Mike Joy, Ned Jarrett, Buddy Baker to bring you the call of one of the races to decide the starters in the 500.
In celebration of NASCAR's 50th anniversary, CBS Sports coverage of the Gatorade 125s at Daytona is sponsored by Gatorade Thirst Quencher, the official sports beverage of NASCAR. Hey, life is a sport. Drink it up. Ford, makers of vehicles that are built to last. And by Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR.
Here to play a game.
And honored to quench America's thirst for NASCAR racing through our sponsorship of the Gatorade 125s. NASCAR delivers a level of excitement unmatched anywhere in sports today. And Gatorade is tremendously proud of the association we've enjoyed with NASCAR and its loyal fans for more than a quarter-century.
In celebration of NASCAR's 50th anniversary, CBS Sports presents the Gatorade 125s at Daytona.
56 race teams and thousands of fans are getting set for the flat-out sprints of Speed Weeks, the Gatorade 125s. Only at Daytona and only in February do Winston Cup drivers time trial for a spot in a qualifying race. The field is split in two, and 14 drivers from each of these two sprints will earn spots in the Daytona 500, the rest of the field filled through qualifying times. Ned Jarrett, these races are important for drivers that have to race their way into the field, but some drivers are looking at them as something more.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure to everyone to try to get in the Daytona 500, but those that pretty well are assured of a starting spot in one form or another, they use it as a test session. It's the first time that they've been out there in a full field of competition to learn how the tire wear is, how their car is handling in the draft, and all of those kind of things. So it can be interesting to many people.
Joining us is Buddy Baker, and Buddy won 3 of these qualifying races at Daytona. How did you approach these events?
Well, the first thing you try to do is get as much information to apply to the 500 mile here at Daytona. But the other thing, you have to make the field. These cars, they've tested them for months now. This is a showdown. How you start in the 500 is decided today, and these guys go wide open all day long. Hope for a good start in the Daytona 500.
Yet at the end of the day, some of them will go home. Let's go down to the front row for the first race, and the editor of Stock Car Racing Magazine, Dick Berggren.
Ken Schrader starts on the outside of the front row in a race he's done very well at. In 13 tries, Schrader has 10 top 10s. He's won this thing twice. What's it take to have a good day here, Ken?
Well, we're in a pretty good spot. I just got to pass one car to make sure no one passes me. But, you know, right now we're guaranteed starting 31st in the 500, and we need to gas it up today because we want to be starting 3rd.
He'll be on the pedal. Good luck to you, Kenny Schrader. Starting on the pole is Bobby Labonte. He'll start on the pole of the Daytona 500 so long as he can bring this race car home in one piece and not need to go to a backup car. But, Bobby, this could be a good test session. Do you take it easy, preserve the car, or do you stand on the gas and learn some things today?
Right now you want to go flat out, but you know, that could change. It depends on how your car handles. You know, we haven't, today's a little different day than we've had all week, so kind of wait and see, but hopefully we'll get the Interstate Pontiac just going real fast and stay there.
Best of luck to you. Let's go to Ralph Shaheen.
Jeff Gordon looked like the guy to beat in the Bud shootout until a controversial finish kept you out of victory lane. Jeff, you said that finish on Sunday would be a rallying point for the rest of the week. Will it be today?
Well, I hope it's going to work in an opposite effect because last year when we won the Busch Clash, you know, it definitely carried some momentum. This year I think it's got us fired up and maybe a little angry, actually. So we're going to come in and be patient, but we've got a great car here, a great team, and got a really good shot at having a great start for the Daytona 500.
All right, best of luck to you, Jeff. He'll start 6th here today. Now, there is another driver who has already found his way to victory lane here at Daytona. That's Jimmy Spencer in the qualifying race last Sunday in the Bud Shootout. Now, Jimmy, you won that qualifying race in a Thunderbird. Today, you roll off in a Taurus. Is that good enough?
I hope so. You know, I'll tell you, we had a great run last week in the Bud Bash, and this car is really running well. But that's the important thing, is you got to run well, but you got to finish in the top 15, and that's all we're looking at today. We don't need to win this race. Opportunity comes, we will, but you know, our main thing is the Daytona 500. That's where it's all at. We need to be in the top 15 to be there.
Jimmy Spencer will start 7th. Let's go to Bill Stevens.
What a day for Kenny Irwin. His first start in the Winston Cup car, the 28 car owned by Robert Yates. He's one of 4 rookies trying to make the field, but a lot of veterans trying to make that race on Sunday. And Kenny Irwin, you think you're going to find some road rage out there today?
I don't know. You know, I'm a big learning curve today, so just going to see how everybody races and just try to race with them.
Remember now, he won the ARCA 200 last weekend. They entered that race to get drafting experience, but he ran up front most of the day. This will be his first shot at hand-to-hand combat, Mike.
Here's the starting lineup for the first Gatorade 125. Bobby Labonte's on the pole today and Sunday for the 500. Ken Schrader, winner of this race twice. John Andretti, a Daytona Winston Cup winner here, and Derek Cope, the 1990 500 champion. Ward Burton's trying to make his 4th 500. Jeff Gordon won this race as a rookie in '93. Jimmy Spencer was 4th here a year ago. Dale Jarrett won his 125 last season. Dick Trickle first ran this event in 1970, and Jeremy Mayfield, who ran 6th in last year's 500. David Green, the Busch Series champion, and Sterling Marlin, a winner here in '95. Jeff Green makes his first start in this event. Mark Martins had 6 top 5 finishes. Chad Little makes his 10th start in the qualifier. Johnny Benson Jr., another former Busch champ. USAC champ Kenny Irwin Jr. won the ARCA 200 here last Sunday, and Bill Elliott, a 3-time winner of the 125. Steve Grissom, last year he was on the front row for the 500. And Ted Musgrave with a pair of top 10s in this sprint. Todd Bodine with a brand new team, and Dash Series graduate rookie Dan Pardis. Row 12, Hut Strickland 3rd in '91, and Trans Am champ Wally Dallenbach. Mike Wallace replaces Phil Barkdahl in number 73, and Jeff Bodine debuts a new sponsor today. Rick Mass trying to make his 8th 500, and Mike Cicchetti in his first Winston Cup effort. The field begins to roll out for the pace laps. We'll be back with the green flag for the first Gatorade 125-miler right after this. Speedway, the Gatorade 125s to set the field for Sunday's Daytona 500.
They'll be racing on a 2.5-mile track here this afternoon. 31 degrees of banking in the turns, 18 degrees in the tri-oval.
And they're racing for nearly $750,000. 28 cars will start each race. The distance 50 laps, 125 miles. Terry Labonte, the record holder. In today's race, 13 Fords, 11 Tauruses, and 2 T-Birds, 10 Monte Carlos, and 5 Grand Prix. Todd Bodine will carry our onboard camera today. The Tabasco Pontiac starts 21st, the youngest of the Bodine brothers. Mark Martin, the Valvoline Ford, rolls off 14th today. Jeff Gordon, defending champion. He'll start from 6th position in this DuPont Chevrolet. And Dale Jarrett, a former winner, will start 8th in the Quality Care Ford Taurus. Cars in each race, 56 to attempt, 43 to make the field for Sunday.
This should be the last of their pace laps. Getting set for green.
Mike, you could hear them shifting down and clearing those motors up, anticipating the start. Every one of these guys know it's very important to get a great start.
Labonte and Schrader the front row, Andretti and Koch, Burton and Gordon, Spencer and Jarrett, Trickle and Mayfield, the first 10. Green flag for the first of 50 laps.
Inside line moved off a little bit quicker than the outside line. Bobby Labonte out there by himself. Good start.
From Mark Martin's car, looking back as he pulls alongside David Green. That's Ted Musgrave, teammate to Mark Martin. Inside is Steve Grissom.
Mike, in the race last weekend, they were actually bumping into each other, doing bump drafting in the corners and down the straightaways. It makes both cars run much quicker if you have a little bit of help.
First lap complete. Bobby Labonte, the pole sitter, will lead it. And they're stacked up, 2 abreast behind him. Black flag out for Wally Dallenbach for jumping the start. He'll have to pit.
Oh, boy. That could be very harmful to him, too, in making the Daytona 500.
Turn 2, Labonte's lead is evaporated. The pack has caught him.
Mike, as a lot of people have thought, Kenny Schrader may have one of the strongest cars at Daytona through the whole week, and you can see right now he's taking the lead on the outside as they head down into turn 3. Bobby Labonte, though, looks like he has muscle himself.
It takes him a little more than a lap to get up to speed. Kenny Irwin in the 28 car down on the inside of the 29 car of Jeff Green, but he decided that was not a smart move. There's Dallenbach coming on the inside of Kenny Irving, making it 3 deep. Boy, this is not a good place to do that, but they make it.
Now, Dallenbach is the green car there on the inside of Kenny Irving as they head down in turn 1. He has a black flag out for him to come down pit road. So, boy, you talk about a bad break for him. He's racing like he does not know it yet.
Rules allow him 3 laps to acknowledge the black flag and come in and pit. See what happens here to Dallenbach. Up front, that's Bobby Labonte forging ahead to a half-car length lead on Schrader. And, Ned, I'm amazed that they're still lined up in 2 rows.
No one can make a move. They are still just basically the way they start. Now here is John and Andretti trying to make a move.
Those are 3 Pontiacs on the inside there fighting to keep the first, second, and third position in this race. As you can see, they're pulling away from Schrader on the outside in the green car there just a little bit.
Schrader in that green and black 33, and this time around, Dallenbach obeys the black flag. He'll get a stop-and-go penalty. Dick Berggren.
NASCAR has decided that Dallenbach passed the car before he got to the start-finish line, which is something you're not supposed to do. The crew disputes that. They say, depends on what constitutes passing a car. At any rate, Dallenbach has made a stop and go. He's in the back of the pack and behind the pack, too.
He'll have to have a caution flag to be able to catch up. He'll be out there running by himself without the benefit of draft. Normally, two cars will run faster together than they will by themselves.
3 laps complete, and nobody can establish a lead.
Mike, John Andretti got very loose. He's now taking the lead as they come through the tri-oval. As you can see from Todd Bodine's car going through the tri-oval there, he got very loose off turn 4. Andretti was lucky to keep control of that car.
Andretti driving for Richard Petty this season in that blue and red number 43, now in 3rd position behind Daytona 500 pole sitter Bobby Labonte and Ken Schrader. Derek Cope carrying new colors, the black and red number 30, moving up on the outside. Now the outside line has taken a lead off into turn 3.
Mike, I think what happened is when John Andretti got sideways, he had to check up just a little bit. And with restrictor plate racing, when you back off, it really takes a lot off the car. You can see the outside line is really moving now.
And there are 4 cars that are in single file up in front, and there is Andretti and Jarrett running side by side. And if they aren't careful, those 4 cars will get away from them.
You're riding with Dale Jarrett. CBS roof cam mounted at the leading edge of the roof, back of the windshield. That's the first Ford in line, looking ahead at those Chevys and Pontiacs. Bill Stevens.
This morning I spoke to 3 different crew chiefs, including Mark Reno for Kenny Irwin. Also spoke to Derek Cope's crew chief, Doug Hewitt. They said that they were down on power during practice this week. Their concern is if they pull out a line today, they're going to go backwards really fast. They don't have enough octane to get out of that draft and try to make a pass just yet.
As they come to complete lap 6, Bobby Labonte leads Kenny Schrader, Derek Cope, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett, and Jeremy Mayfield. Welcome back to the Gatorade 125. Bobby Labonte is your leader. Dale Jarrett's Ford runs in 5th place. Let's ride along with him, buddy.
Okay, well, I'll talk as we ride. If you want to come off turn 4 here, it'll come out against the wall. Stay in the draft. That means get right behind the car. That's kind of a toe where the air is turbulating behind the car there, pulling the car second up towards him. As they go down, you get up against the wall. Now watch him go to the bottom of the racetrack, left front, right on the white line there. And you just stay right on the bottom. You see Gordon start up just about a half a car left and right back to the bottom. As you start off towards the back straightaway, right out against the wall again, getting full effect of the draft as they head down the back straightaway.
Bobby Labonte leads this qualifying race, 10 of 50 laps complete. Ken Schrader in a Chevy, Derek Cope, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett, the first of the Fords, in 5th place. And right now, Todd Bodine is the boy on the bubble. Jeff Gordon takes us into the tri-oval. That dotted white line denotes the edge between the banking and the flat. And if you touch a wheel down there on the flat when you're in the banking, you're going right up to that wall, right, buddy?
You can be an old guy before you get off the outside wall. You can believe that.
Maybe a piece of rubber on the back step.
Ray Evernham advising driver Jeff Gordon as you ride with him.
Saying the debris is low and 2, possibly.
That's Derek Cope just ahead.
I think there might be some debris on the racetrack is what he's telling his driver. But if it isn't in the racing groove and out of harm's way, there will be no caution flag.
That's David Green in that black and yellow machine battling Jeff Green in orange. Another brother act here at Daytona. What, 5 sets of brothers trying to break into the Daytona 500.
Wow.
Now they are side by side for 13th and 14th. Right behind them, Dick Trickle, driving for ageless Junie Donlevy out of Richmond, Virginia, in the last qualified spot right now.
And they don't want to stay side by side too long, Mike, because as I said earlier, 2 cars running side by side are not nearly as fast as 2 cars running in line with each other. And caution will be coming out. Debris on the racetrack. That's going to be a huge break for Wally Dallenbach.
They'll race back to the caution flag to establish restart position. Bobby Labonte to lead that first pack across.
Okay, you can see Kenny Schrader there. You see his arm going back and forth to let everybody know behind him them that there's problems and the yellow flag is out. You see him waving there, the lead car, Labonte, letting everybody know we're slowing down so you don't run in the back of the car when the caution comes out.
12 cars had established a breakaway back to Johnny Benson. It was David Green, Dick Trickle, Jeff Green, and Hut Strickland fighting for that bubble spot that determines the last driver to qualify for the 500 in this event. Bobby Labonte leads us under the caution flag. 2 Pontiacs, 2 Chevys, and 2 Fords in the first 6 spots. We'll be right back.
Sports coverage of the Gatorade 125s at Daytona is sponsored by Gatorade Thirst Quencher, the official sports beverage of NASCAR. Hey, life is a sport. Drink it up. Texaco, a world of energy. And by Goodyear, innovators of run-flat technology.
You're riding through turn 4 at Daytona at 190 miles an hour with Jeff Gordon, the second-place car, as he draws a bead on leader Ken Schrader.
Kenny Schrader only a couple of car lengths in front right now. John Andretti directly behind Jeff Gordon as they head down to turn 1. Here comes Gordon. He's making a move on the inside. He's got him. He's going into turn 1 very low. John Andretti right on his back bumper.
That will drop kick Schrader back to 3rd, and he'll have to find a spot in line.
Well, Schrader needs to get in just behind Andretti as they head down the back straightaway and get this draft going because Dale Jarrett's going to move in 4th.
Schrader drops in line in 3rd. It's Gordon, Andretti in a Pontiac, Schrader Chevrolet, and the Ford of Dale Jarrett.
Mike, when you're going down the freeway, the last thing you want is somebody glued to your bumper. That's exactly what John Andretti wants right now. His car's just a tad bit tight. He radioed down to his crew chief, Robbie Loomis, and says, get somebody to stick up behind me. I'm good to go if they will. Dick Berggren.
Jeff Gordon, who's now leading this race, has had a tremendous history in this event. His very first race ever at Daytona for Rick Hendrick, he won. He's been second twice, third once, and fourth once, and 4th is the worst he's ever finished in one of these 125 milers. Mike?
Jeff Gordon on point, but look what's happened to John Andretti.
Mike, if you get out of line, you can see Andretti just got outside that draft just a little bit. He went from 1st all the way back to about 9th or 10th right now.
Yeah, that's worse than the slow lane at the toll booth.
Boy, it really is. It's very more frustrating than that also. He a couple of cars passed him on the outside coming off of the turn. There was nothing in the world he could do about it, and now he can't get back in line.
The adage of Daytona, in restrictor plate racing, you have to have help. And now Andretti slides up in front of Jeremy Mayfield and gets back in that single file running order. The train heads for turn 1.
Oh, Kenny Allen Jr. Kenny Irwin Jr. almost made a huge mistake right then. He got in the back of a car coming down the front straightaway. You could see the back of his car. Bill Elliott, as a matter of fact, almost walked in.
Irwin in that black number 28. Ernie Irvin drove it last year, and Irwin, the rookie from out of the Truck Series, getting quite a baptism here at Daytona. Gordon drops low in the banking to try and break the draft.
Boy, it seemed to work for him. His car is working great down on the inside. Gained a couple of car lengths, but they moved back on him very quickly once they get in his draft on the straightaway.
From Dale Jarrett, looking ahead at second place, Kenny Schrader.
He knows Schrader's going to try to make a high move because Gordon is protecting that inside.
He's protecting him, but I'll tell you what, he's going to have to change around once these guys really get buttoned up there. I don't think he'll be able to hold them off by running low. It looks to me like the groove is moving up on the racetrack. You can ride with Dale Jarrett. Watch them go in the corner here. Distinctive difference in what they think it's going to take to get the job done.
Back at the bubble, Kenny Irwin, that black number 28 car, has been passed by Chad Little in that green 97. Little now is on the bump spot. He's the bubble man. That means he would get the 29th starting position, and the fellows behind would have to rely on their qualifying time or provisional starting spots available due to car owner points in the 97 season. Halfway in this first 125-miler, Irwin looks underneath, and here we're with Mark Martin.
Mark Martin has been on a steady move towards the front. Speculation was his car wasn't real great by itself, but you can see it's working very well right now. Mark Martin may be improving more position than anybody in the field.
Well, he started 14th. He's currently running in 6th place.
Sterling Marlin right behind him in one of the Felix Sabates cars, a 3-car team. That's Bobby Labonte down on the inside.
and he's coming back towards the front. Down there by himself, Mike. He's just passing a car here and passing a car there. He had dropped way back, but that's how strong that Pontiac is.
That Joe Gibbs' own car has Super Bowl of stock car racing kind of written all over it as he runs the bottom by himself. Up at the front, Gordon down on the bottom, and everybody else upstairs.
And he gains on them through those turns down on the bottom. See how far away he is pulled? Now we'll watch him as they get in line and down the backstretch. They'll catch back up to him. But he gains so much in the corners, even with the momentum to gain on the straightaways, they can't go on past him.
Ned, I used to do that when I was running second here. I would make that guy on leading the race think he had me, where I couldn't run down there. All the whole time I was keeping his eye in the mirror. When it comes time, you make the move.
Some of the fellows that are running outside of qualified positions include the man you're with, Todd Bodine, Ted Musgrave, Jimmy Spencer, Jeff Bodine, Steve Grissom, Wally Dallenbach. All outside the top 15. Bodine pulling up on Jeremy Mayfield and Hut Strickland. Back behind him, David Green battles. Let's check with Bill Stevens for a report on the second place car.
Kenny Schrader's car's been a little spooky. First it was pushing, and then you saw him go into first place, and the pit erupted in applause, and then he fell back to second place again. If there's a yellow, Andy Petrie says they'll definitely bring him in for tires, and he says that Ken isn't going to stay in second place. If he's got a shot for the lead, he has the green light to go after him.
Well, it's surprising that a driver that far up in the field would, three wide, we're getting racy.
Boy, we're getting almost too racy here. There, you see them fan out on the straightaway there on the trial, trying to gain a position.
You got to get to 15th spot. Ralph.
Mike, Kenny Irwin is trying to win two things here today. A ticket into the Daytona 500, but almost more importantly, he's trying to earn respect here today from his fellow drivers, according to car owner Robert Yates. Buddy, how does a driver earn respect from his competition?
Doing what he's doing right now, but he's losing the spot as we look. You see Todd Bodine, he knows he has to have a great run today to get into the Daytona 500. He just passed Kenny Irwin Jr. Patience and really lost some time out there. That's the best teacher you could ever have.
That black number 28 is Irwin's ride. David Green, the former Busch Series champion, holds the 14th spot.
Green was a rookie last year
and didn't make the 500. He's learned a lot, though, trying to prove it here. Cars from this race assured positions in the 500, including pole sitter Bobby Labonte. Some of these cars will be going home after today. At the front, Jeff Gordon, Ken Schrader, number 33 is second. Dale Jarrett up there in third.
There's Sterling Marlin on the inside starting to rumble now. He comes up beside Derek Cope as they headed down in the corner.
He saw Bobby Labonte coming up there on the inside, buddy, and he said, okay, that groove is working for Jeff Gordon. It's working for Bobby Labonte. Let me get down there, get in front of Bobby Labonte. Maybe he can push me to the front. Looks like he has a good idea.
That's what they're doing on the inside. They're up against Derek Cope and then black number 30. Ward Burton in the 22. Sterling Marlin trying to pull the train on track 2, the inside.
You can see they have some extra help. There's Jimmy Spencer in the 23 there. You see a little spark coming off. The cars actually bottom out a little bit in turn 1 there.
20 laps to go. Bill Stevens.
You guys definitely have hit the nail on the head. You're going to watch guys begin to pair up now as we get into the meat and potato to this race. We just heard that Dick Trickle is going to start working with Johnny Benson. Both of those cars getting nowhere fast except when they're nose to tail.
Sterling Marlin keeps coming in at number 40, and behind him they were 3 wide in turn 4. Nobody wants to be left at the station. And there's Todd Bodine in 35 underneath Johnny Benson. As they battle for 12th place, there's Dick Trickle, winner of over 2,000 short track races, won Busch Grand National race, and looking for his first Winston Cup triumph. First year he was here, he beat Alan Kowicki for a spot, the last spot in this qualifying race, to make the Daytona 500. Bodine slipping back a bit as Trickle moves alongside. And just ahead of them, Jeremy Mayfield down on the inside behind Jimmy Spencer in 23. Mark Martin running along in 8th place. as you ride the outside with Mark Martin. Here's Ken Squire.
You know, he's been so unhappy and uncomfortable with that car number 6 all week, Mike, and here he is, as you pointed out, in the first 25 laps from 14th up to 6th. It looks like he's found a remedy for some of the problems on that Roush car.
Looking back from Mark Martin on the inside, there's John Andretti. How about Jimmy Spencer, the winner of last up front, the 40 car? That is Sterling Marlin. And indeed, Bobby Labonte, Ned, as you said, he's giving Marlin a big trouble back straight away. From the middle of the packed cars have gone spinning. Dick Trickle down to the inside.
They'll race back to the start-finish line, but Dick Trickle with the roof flap up on it. Here they come. Back to the line.
Kenny Irwin Jr. there, the 28.
And Jeff Gordon will lead them across. Marlin squeezes his way up to second past Dale Jarrett.
We knew something had to happen back there in that pack of cars as they were getting down nearer to the end of this race, and they started battling for that transfer position.
And one of this sport's most experienced drivers and one of its rawest rookies get tied up. Here's Ralph.
Well, they have brought Kenny Irwin down pit road. He has got heavy damage to the right side of the car. He's got damage to the left side of the car as well. He's got donuts all over the door panels. They are working to get the sheet metal off so they can change the right side tires. Gasman Norman Kajimizu filling him up with fuel. They'll go to work on the left side of the car as well. They're trying to get the sheet metal away here so they get the jack up underneath. They are struggling to get the left front tire off. The sheet metal is having to be pulled away, and they're going to let him go. Well, now they've stopped him again. They're just trying to pull the sheet metal away enough so that maybe they can leave those. Well, now they're going to take the left side tire off. A lot of decisions being made on the spur of the moment down here as to what they can do quickest to get Kenny Irwin back into this race.
Let's have a look at what happened among 3 cars in the back straightaway.
Okay, we come off of turn 2, and it looks like that Kenny Irwin might have gotten into the wall. He's the car out here, and there's the 35 car of Todd Bodine and Dick Trickle, this 90 car, as he slides down to the inside. Amazing that more cars didn't get involved.
Todd Bodine come up just a little bit. They made contact there, and Kenny Irwin Jr., you can see right now as they come off, see Kenny Irwin Jr. on top. He gets into the right rear corner of the 35 there. That turns them. You see Dick Trickle just turn left to avoid the wreck in front of him.
Irwin appeared to bounce off the wall into Todd Bodine. Let's have another look at it and slow it way down.
Right there, Kenny Irwin hit the outside wall, which shot him down to the inside into Todd Bodine. And Dick Trickle, of course, right down there also.
Trickle had to turn hard left when he did. The car broke loose and into the infield.
Here's what it looked like from one of the cars involved as we come out of turn number 2 right along with Todd Bodine. Dick Berggren.
Well, Jeff Gordon's crew has noticed that they have slowed down a little bit on the racetrack, so they're going to come in and they're going to change tires, and this will be real interesting. Barry Muse, the regular jack man, not here. He's got a dental problem. Chris Anderson is on the jack for the first time, and on the rear tires, Mike Schauer is on that position for the very first time. They've got the outside tires done. They're going to change the inside tires as well. Schrader, right behind him, also going to change 4 tires. To Bill Stevens.
That's correct. They've had a loose condition in that car throughout the race. They think these tires are going to solve it, and he should be able to get back up to the front without any trouble whatsoever.
Crew chiefs Ray Evernham and Andy Petrie decided to pit in unison. Will this strategy pay off? We'll find out after this.
Let me tell you, is sponsored by Gatorade Thirst Quencher, the official sports drink of NASCAR.
After 37 laps, we've already had 6 different leaders. Green flag. Many of the leaders made pit stops, and Sterling Marlin is at the head of the field.
Jeff Gordon dropped back to 16th. He made a pit stop and came out first, so he came out in 16th position. So let's see if he can work his way back up through the field.
Dick Berggren.
The radios between crew chief and driver have been smoking down here, Mike. Jeff Gordon's crew has told him, hook up with Schrader. With new tires, you ought to be able to go forward. Schrader's crew has told him the same thing. And both crews have told their drivers, watch out for the squirrels in front of you.
Squirrels, that is some drivers that might be slipping and sliding a little bit on the racetrack.
What these guys need to do right now, they need to stay nose to tail, and because Jeff Gordon and them are coming like a storm behind them. They have a lot of work to make up, but I'll tell you what, you can see right now Jeff Gordon's already moved to there up in the field. He is flying up through here.
Jeff Gordon behind Johnny Benson. Mike Wallace up on the outside ahead.
Outside.
The spotter for Jeff Gordon saying there's a car outside you in your blind spot.
Clear high if you want it.
Jeff Bodine went on past. The outside lane open to Jeff Gordon if he wanted to go.
Now what he has to do is be very patient right now. You can see that Jeff Bodine there, they're running side by side, and you don't want to go completely on the outside there. Maybe get cut off coming off the corner. But he has Kenny Schrader directly behind him right now. When he gets up there, these two ought to go right by Bodine and all out of sight.
John Andretti linked up with them as you watch from Jeff Gordon's car. But Ned, that front pack is just as Buddy said they had to do. 7 cars are staying single file in front of this group. They're going to be hard to catch.
Yes, they are going to be hard to catch.
10 to go. Next time by.
Kenny Irwin Jr. drops to the inside, no longer a factor in this race. He will start the 500 on a car owner's provisional. The pack moves on by. Ralph Shaheen.
Mike, what Buddy is talking about is exactly the conversations that are going on between the spotters on the roof of the Winston Tower and the crew chiefs down here on pit road being relayed to the drivers. Stay single file in that front group of 7. If you guys will be patient, Gordon and the rest of the quick guys behind you will never catch you, and you can race for it at the finish.
10 laps to go. There's Schrader down on the inside.
And nobody down there to help him, Mike. He's having a tough time getting up through the pack, even with the new tires.
Schrader said at the top of the show, he's guaranteed of 31st. His qualifying, oh, trouble again, off the corner, and around goes Pardis, Dan Pardis. Graduate of the NASCAR Dash Series for compact cars, got tied up, slides halfway down the backstretch. Steve Grissom may also be involved.
And they'll race back to the flag one more time.
Caution laps do count. Sterling Marlin, whose dad won a 125-mile qualifying race here, brings them across the caution flag with Dale Jarrett, Bobby Labonte, Derek Cope, and Jimmy Spencer in tow. Let's show you what happened here, and again, it's up in turn 2.
Well, here they come, 3 abreast out of that turn. Chad Little in the green 97 car down on the inside, but it looked like
that's Mike Cicchetti.
Cicchetti got into the back there and turned him as they start off the corner. There comes Grissom in the 41 by, went down on the flat part of the racetrack, and I'm sure he lost it as he tried to get back on the racetrack.
Now let's show you what happened to Steve Grissom in the aftermath of this.
Okay, Grissom's down on the dirty part of the racetrack. You can see the dust flying off the rear wheels there. As he turns right to get back up on the racetrack, watch the back of the car start to get sideways. He's in big trouble right there.
See the car spinning around. Steve Grissom, number 41. And up onto the banking. Hits the wall with the left side. Quite a bit of damage to the car. You see these roof flaps up there? They're designed to come up when the car starts backwards, and that'll help to keep the car on the ground.
Sterling Marlin aims for his 2nd career victory in the Gatorade 125. As we pause for this message and a word from your local CBS station. 125, looking at Daytona from the Bud 1 airship. High above Daytona International Speedway. This Bud's for you. Green flag.
Like we mentioned a moment ago that Jeff Gordon was 16th on that last restart after his pit stop. He only moved up 3 positions in those green flag laps we have, but he's moving right now, buddy.
All the way 4 wide. You can see Jeff Gordon diving in there, trying to make up time right now, trying to get back to the front of this field.
Jeff Green's orange car went into that corner down on the flat. Many thought these drag race restarts would be the best place to pass. Here's Dallenbach in 46, Wallace in 73, tied up there with Green, and Andretti in 43, and on the outside, Jeff Green. Single file at the front of the field, 8th on back. That's the dogfight.
You can see Gordon there. He was hung out to dry on the inside there. As we go back to the leaders, you can see Sterling Marlin right now. Dale Jarrett, boy, they're just running effortless right now in front. This will change with 2 or 3 laps to go, though. Everybody will be trying to win.
5 laps to go. That green car working up high. Chad Little trying to fight his way into the Great American Race on Sunday, battling Jeff Gordon, last year's champion. You're riding with Gordon, and he has no one in front of him. He has to get in that outside lane, and finally does so behind David Green. And Gordon goes up high. Now, can he get some help from behind to propel him past David Green? Not this time.
All his friends are in the pit area right now. Nobody's trying to help anybody.
Ken Schrader is the bubble car, number 33, right behind Jeff Gordon. Jeff Green, at orange 29, has to fight his way one more spot forward to start in the first 15 rows on Sunday.
Now, Kenny Schrader's got a good run off the corner there. He goes by Gordon on the inside.
And he's got Jeff Green with him.
I think Jeff Gordon had to back off just a moment. He ran up on Davey Green there, and Jeff had to back off for just a moment, and that allowed, with the momentum that Schrader had, for him to move right on by.
Sterling Marlin is unchallenged for the lead. This is the battle to see who gets in and who packs their suitcase. 3 laps to go. Dan Pardis goes in the garage. There's that 26 of Benson. Gordon gets back up in line behind David Green once again.
Now, since he's that far back, you wonder, now he's going to be in the Daytona 500. You know, he gets the first provisional. He's a past champion. He could get a provisional for that. But his speed certainly would get him in also. Would he back off you a little bit and let somebody get in that might not otherwise get in the race?
I think that last picture showed you he's still trying, but there you can see when you don't have any help down on the bottom part of the racetrack, he can't make any advance at all towards the front.
Schrader coming with him back up at the front. Jimmy Spencer begins to move on the inside from 5th place. Here's Spencer, and Derek Cope may have traded a little paint.
He's in trouble. He has no help on the bottom side of the racetrack. You can see 1, 2, 3 positions. He lost on one straightaway there.
Those guys up front are loving that. They love to see cars behind them get side by side.
That they are in 5th place. And further back for 15th, the important bubble position.
Mike, this is part of the race when you run one eye on the racetrack, one in the mirror.
Spencer, the lone car on the inside against Jeremy Mayfield with that number 12. Single file now, the front 5, side by side at 6th, 11th, 15th, and 17th.
You're right, buddy. That move cost Jimmy Spencer. He was trying to better his position for the Daytona 500.
1 lap to go. This not only determines who gets in, but where they will start on Sunday.
Certainly, if you have anything left, you put it all to work right
Trouble!
Right
one car hard in the wall. That may have been Schrader. A vicious right turn into the wall for Schrader. They will race to the checkered flag. And look at this on the back straightaway. Sterling Marlin trying to weave and break the draft.
Exactly what he was doing. He's watching his mirror right now. Dale Jarrett pulled up about a car length as they head down toward the front straightaway.
Still side by side back in the pack. There's your leader. Ahead of Dale Jarrett, Sterling Marlin, whose father won one of these qualifying races, will go to victory lane. Jarrett, Labonte, Spencer, Burton, Cope, and Martin. And 3 wide at the flag come Dallenbach and the Green brothers, which may have been just a little too late. Kenny Schrader, thankfully, is out of his car.
But he might be hurt. He's hurting, that's for sure.
But Ned, that crash was so vicious that just to see Schrader climb out is a great sign.
Certainly is.
Johnny Benson Jr., the Busch Series and ASA champion. That car does not have a provisional spot to get in Sunday's 500.
Brand new team, so no points. And I'm not sure that his speed was good enough either, Mike, to get him in. Of course, we'll have to sort all of that out because that crash certainly made a world of difference in who got in and who doesn't.
There's a good sign. Kenny Schrader's standing on his own right now. What probably happened, the seats are pretty firm. Probably knocked the air out of him just for a second. You can see him walking around looking the car over.
He knew that he'd be in the Daytona 500. He said so at the top of the show, but he wanted that race car in the Daytona 500. That race car won't be in there. He'll have to go to a backup.
And start at the back. That's Johnny Benson talking to Schrader about the incident that has destroyed 2 cars and may have destroyed Benson's chances for running on Sunday. Let's have a look.
Okay, there you see Schrader's car. The number 33 get loose as it goes into the turn. It turns sideways and heads to the wall head on.
And when he hit the wall, he back into Benson there, the 26 car. You can see it spinning round and round. He had absolutely nothing to do with it. Wrong place at the right time.
Here's another look.
Oh,
he
David Green gets into the back of him and turns him to the outside.
Sterling Marlin has arrived in victory lane. And as CBS Sports helps NASCAR celebrate their 50th anniversary season. We remind you that Sterling has been silver in Daytona before.
Here they come down the stretch for the final time. It is Sterling Marlin in the lead. Down to the inside comes the 28. Coming to the line. Sterling Marlin's going to win it. Down they come. The short 1,600-foot straightaway to the finish line. And the winner of the 1995 Daytona 500 is again Sterling Marlin.
Let's go to victory lane with Dick Berggren.
Well, he's won the Daytona 500 twice. Now he's won the 125-miler twice. But that last lap was really something with the 88 all over your back bumper.
Well, it was. I tell you, all the guys on the Coors Light team done a great job. And all the boys back to shop, I just want to thank everybody, especially Felix Bodies, Tony Glover, Buddy Barnes, Red Dog, the whole bunch. And thanks Chevrolet, Goodyear. We're having a good time, man. It's great to be back.
Now, when you saw all those hot dogs pit and take on fresh tires, did you think when that happened that you should have done the same?
Well, we felt like that, you know, our car was real tight high. And I kept letting off gas. And I said, I'm going to the bottom. And I went down to the bottom and got to picking them off. And that's where our car was good. Just never had to lift on the bottom. And that's one of the lot of races here, getting it set up like it. So worked good for us.
Well, that's the way for a driver to start with a brand new team, Mike Joy.
Thanks, Dick. Sterling Marlin wins for Felix Sabates, and with Daytona 500 pole sitter Bobby Labonte finishing 3rd, it means that the first 15 finishers in this race make the Daytona 500. The balance of the field from Dahlin back on will have to depend on their qualifying speed or a car owner's provisional spot to make the Great American Race on Sunday. We'll be back and introduce you to the drivers for race 2 after this word.
Live here at Daytona International Speedway on this Saturday morning as we prepare for that 300 a little later. Crowd continuing to gather, and it looks like it will be a record number for that preview event, the prelude to the Daytona 500, which you'll see live tomorrow here on CBS. Nice to have you along on a Saturday morning as we prepare for live action later today in that great Grand National Napa 300. Certainly congratulations were in order after that first 125 to Sterling Marlin on his second win of these qualifying races, the 2-time winner of the 500. Besides the story of Marlin, the other big story, of course, Ken Schrader. Many picked him to win the race, but recall what happened to him. Down in turn number 1, head on into the wall, takes Benson with him. Badly hurt his sternum. The question has been, will he start the car on Sunday and run the entire 500 miles? He's tough. How tough is he? Let's find out right now from Dick Berggren.
Thanks, Ken. Kenny Schrader hit the wall about as hard as a man can hit it and still walk away. The steering wheel in his race car started out looking like this, like nice and round and all fine. this is the actual steering wheel that was in the car. Look how hard he must have hit the wall in order to bend that wheel. But Kenny Schrader is with me now. How are you feeling?
I'm a little sore, but other than that, we're fine.
Going to be able to run the race tomorrow?
That's the plan. Don't see any reason why we wouldn't be able to. We're just going to have to get padded up and protected up a little extra.
Going to wear this little vest tomorrow?
Yeah, it's the vest that the one of the Copenhagen bull riders, Mark Kane, came up with to protect them in their bull riding. It just kind of hold us together and protect in front of in case we were to hit something again. And then this piece of harder plastic could go across the front of it, attached to the front of it, go underneath my uniform with the straps over it, just in case we were to hit something with the front again.
Now, you're just going to start this race. You're not going to run the whole thing, are you?
I'm just going to run the first 200 laps.
The race is 200 laps long. This is one tough, brave guy, Ken Squire.
Someone asked him in a press conference yesterday how he felt, and Schrader said, I feel like you're supposed to feel after you hit the wall at 185 miles per hour. Sore. It was big. The fact that he feels anything at all seemed to be a miracle to many who watched it. Now, coming up later today, we got the 125, the second one, right for you next. And then, a little afternoon, we have the Napa 300, the Grand National Race. This is always the prelude to the 500. It's always a thriller, and this year we've got a great field of 43 cars to be led by none other than Magic Shoes McLaughlin, the former modified champion from up in Waterloo, New York. And he's standing by with Ralph Shaheen right now.
Well, you know, Ken, they always called Mike Magic Shoes because he was quick on his speed and quick enough to win the pole, and you were half a second faster than the guy who'll be starting alongside of you. Is that going to be enough to keep these guys behind you all day long?
Well, I'll tell you, qualifying's a different mode. We had an awesome race car. I've got to give my guys credit. They worked harder than anybody else. There's a lot of preparation that goes into the cars just to qualify, and they've done a great job. We're happy with our new sponsor, Gould's Pump, start the season on the pole. You know, we're excited about today's race.
All right, Mike, good luck to you. Ken, back to you.
Well, coming up is the second 125-mile qualifier from this past Thursday. If you thought the action was something to race one, wait till you see race two. And don't forget the 300 live a little after noon.
The second Gatorade 125. Terry Labonte holds the speed record for this race. It's one that Dale Earnhardt rarely loses. In row two, Mike Skinner, second last year in this race, and Rusty Wallace, winner of Sunday's Bud Shootout. Blake Speed, 7 top 10s in the 125, and Greg Sachs, last 8 years, 8 different car owners here. Ernie Irvin, a 2-time winner of this race, and Ricky Craven, third at last year's 500. Dave Marcus won this race back in 1976. Billy Standridge trying to make his first 500 start. Darrell Waltrip, a 5-time winner of the qualifier. Bobby Hamilton, first drive for a new team. Michael Waltrip, 5th in this race a year ago, and Joe Nemechek trying to make his 4th 500. Jerry Nadeau, a rookie, driving for Bill Elliott and Dan Marino, and Jeff Burton, 5th in the 500 2 years ago. Kenny Wallace, runner-up in last Sunday's Bud Shootout, and Kyle Petty with 4 top 3 finishes in the qualifier. Brett Bodine, 5th in this race in '94, and Andy Hillenberg makes his debut. Gary Bradbury, 3rd time around in the 125s for him, and Steve Park, the rookie out of the Busch Series, driving for Dale Earnhardt. Kevin LePage comes out of the Busch Series trying to make his first 500. Robert Presley looking for his 5th start in the big race. Mark Gibson, his first Daytona appearance in this race since '92, and Ricky Rudd, 8 straight top 10 finishes in this race. Finally, Loy Allen Jr., the pole winner here in 1994, and ARCA veteran Norm Benning looking to make his first 500. Getting set for the start of this second race on a 2.5-mile tri-oval. They're up in the 31-degree banking of turns 1 and 2.
28 cars starting this race and go for 50 laps. Almost $750,000 in prize money, probably more than the first Daytona 500 total purse.
12 Chevrolets in race number 2, 13 Fords, 9 Tauruses, 4 T-Birds, 3 Pontiac Grand Prix. And from the front row, Terry Labonte will try to do what no driver has done in this decade, beat Dale Earnhardt in a qualifying race. You're going to ride with Ricky Craven, driving the Budweiser number 50 in celebration of NASCAR's 50th anniversary. And with the Intimidator from the outside of the front row, Dale Earnhardt, GM Goodwrench number 3. Let's go to Ken Squire.
You know, Mike, the last time that Earnhardt was beaten on this track in a 125-mile qualifier, you have to go back to 1989. The guy that did it was Terry Labonte.
And here, Ken, they line up side by side. Old adversaries. Aflac trivia question, who's won the most Gatorade 125s this decade?
I think I have it. Dale Earnhardt.
And he has been awfully confident all week long here. He is ready to go.
50 laps, 125 miles. First 15 in the show, and some will go home. Green flag.
See him already start fanning out, trying to get position. 3 wide going into turn 1.
That was Darrell Walter making the first move down low.
He does get a little racy there.
3 abreast and on the inside out of turn 2, Jerry Nadeau, the rookie, in number 13. Kenny Wallace, number 81, right behind him. They're still 3 abreast.
That outside lane was moving very good, and here's a move for the lead, but Terry Labonte hanging on down the inside. Earnhardt's trying to come, buddy.
Well, he's trying very hard. There was a little contact, it looked like there. The cars got very close. You could see Earnhardt move way up the racetrack as he gathered it back. It looked like a caution almost.
They started a wreck, they just didn't finish it.
And Earnhardt does take the lead.
Dale Earnhardt leads the first lap. Rusty Wallace tucked up behind him. There's Rusty from Dale Earnhardt's bumper cam.
You can see the car jumping around a little bit. Look at the travel on the front of that car. You can see it going up and down 3-4 inches of travel on these cars anymore.
This will not be a single file run. They're 3 wide again on the second lap. Way down to the inside, Darrell Waltrip with Michael Waltrip, younger brother, right behind him.
You can see Terry Labonte right there. He is really dropping back. He got in the middle part of the pack there, and he's going to the rear.
Yeah, you can see him. He's still going back. Right here he is, Terry Labonte. And he just wants to get back out of that. That's a position he does not want to be in the middle of a 3-car wide shootout.
From 2nd to 18th. Now, Labonte's front row spot for Sunday is secure.
Whoa, Steve Park got loose there. That's him in the yellow car on the outside there, the number 1 car. Boy, did he get sideways.
Dick Berggren.
The drivers and crews all watched that first race, Mike, and I asked them what they learned from it. And to a man, they all said if we're running anywhere near the front, we will not get. But almost to a man, they also said you got to follow the leader. Well, that was about a lap and a half ago they said that.
Well, they're following him now. Dick Dale Earnhardt leads. Rusty Wallace runs in 2nd. Greg Sachs is up there. Ricky Craven, the front 4.
Stop me if you've heard this one before, but Dale Earnhardt is leading one of these 125-mile races. What's interesting is Larry McReynolds, the crew chief, told me this morning that all week Dale has been talking more about winning the qualifying race than the Daytona 500. He really wants to run this race to the front.
Earnhardt trying to keep that streak intact.
It would be hard for me to remember when he didn't try to run in front. I tell you, Earnhardt loves this racetrack and his past performance here, the winningest driver in Daytona history, but never the Daytona 500.
Net 7-car breakaway at the front of the field.
They've lined up single file, which is the thing they need to do. Those other cars were racing side by side back there, allowed those 7 cars to pull away. Now that second group is beginning to get in single file, some of them at least, whether they'll be able to run those down in front of them or not.
Michael Waltrip leads that second pack. Big brother Darrell right behind him, drafting along as the Wallaces did to win the Bud Shootout on Sunday. Ralph Shaheen.
Rusty Wallace has got a new spotter today. Crew Chief Robin Temperton is working off the roof today and acting as crew chief down behind the pit wall. Earl Barbin, who usually uses the jack, and Billy Wilburn, tire changer on the front side of the car, will be calling the shots from down here, of course, with a little help from Robin on the roof.
Interesting strategy for Rusty. Car owner Roger Penske will be his race day spotter. From Earnhardt, you're looking back at Rusty Wallace's 2nd place.
Looks like Ricky Craven had a problem or something. He dropped out of that lead draft. They got too wide going into the 3rd turn, and Ricky Craven dropping way back in the pack in the car number 50.
There is Craven sliding back. Today's in-car telemetry provided by First Plus Financial, 6,400 RPM, 186 miles an hour.
He is definitely backing up.
Dick Berggren.
Craven has radioed into his crew, Mike, that he has an ignition problem.
Yeah, he should be turning more than that 6,000 plus RPMs that we're seeing turn right there. These restricted plate engines don't turn what they do unrestricted. They'll get up 8,500 or 9,000, but they do get more than 7,000.
Craven is probably fast enough on qualifying speed to get into the Daytona 500, and if not, he will certainly have a provisional spot available. The pole sitter, outside pole sitter for the 500, Terry Labonte, is coming to pit road.
He does not want to use that race car up in this race. He wants it available for Sunday's Daytona 500.
And that's where he's going to put it safely in the garage.
Well, you did that one year, did you?
I did that, but I tell you, it really cost me quite a bit for the 500 because this is a rehearsal for the 500. You set your car up after this race and you say, okay, it got loose when the fuel was getting low and also the tires were getting worn out. So it's an important race to run, I think.
Getting racy in that second pack. There's Michael Waltrip, number 21 in orange. Leading Bobby Hamilton, the new driver for Larry McLaurin, number 4. Now they've linked up. Joe Nemechek is with them. Jeff Burton in 99. And Jerry Nadeau, the rookie, having a good run for Dan Marino and Bill Elliott.
And we wondered if they'd be able to catch that lead pack. Remember the last time we talked about it, they were pretty far back, and now they are right there with them. It's getting racy here.
Back straight away, 2 abreast into turn 3. They climb the banking, the front 2 out in front, and here's the battle for third.
You look at Ernie Irvin there in the new 36 car that he moved to after he quit driving the 28 car of Yates, and you can see right now he's going to be a force this year. I think that car is going to be good in the 500. It's also handling very well on the bottom part of the racetrack.
Mike Skinner in 31, blue and yellow outside of Irvin, and that's rainbow color number 36.
We have a report that Ricky Craven in the 50 car that we talked about a moment ago has picked back up speed again. Apparently, he switched on his other ignition box. They do have an alternative ignition box that they can go to.
And look, Ned, he's getting nearly 7,000 RPM. Yeah. He was only pulling about 6,300 before.
Right.
Battling with Ricky Rudd. Just ahead. Earnhardt pulls them around the 2.5. Oh, trouble! Off turn 4. Darrell Waltrip is involved in it. The 59 goes sliding. Mark Gibson. Dave Marcus, rookie Steve Park, Ricky Rudd, and Ricky Craven. Kyle Petty darted down pit road to miss them.
Mike, I saw Mark Gibson's car get sideways, whether he had help or not, coming off turn 4. You could see him turn sideways, triggering this chain reaction wreck.
Number 1, Steve Park. Great year in the Busch Series last year. Modified standout, but that new team has no provisional spots to get in the Daytona 500. Rudd's car has come to rest on pit road, destroyed. Mark Gibson's car, the 59, couldn't make it to the pit lane. He's in the grass. That car is wrecked in the front. Dave Marcus, the senior member of this field, his car has come to rest down on the apron just past the start-finish line. And you are with Ricky Craven as he rides to the garage.
And you say, man, if I had not had that ignition problem, I wouldn't have been that far back in the field.
6 cars involved. Park has climbed from his machine. So has Ricky Rudd. And Darrell Waltrip now climbing out by himself. There's Ricky. He's had a disappointing speed week. His car not up to speed as he would wish. Ricky Craven now has stopped. And he'll climb out. There's Darrell Waltrip, Daytona 500 champion. Tough luck today. 6 cars involved, and everyone has climbed out. Let's show you what happened coming off turn 4.
It looked like Mark Gibson in the blue and white car got loose up into the wall, came down into Darrell Waltrip. There comes Dave Marcus. He had nowhere to go. Ricky Rudd had nowhere to go. Then they back into the Bud car of Ricky Craven, and there's Park 6 cars right there in your picture, all spinning around.
And the car right behind Gibson was Gary Bradbury. Don't know if there was any contact right there. May have been.
Might have been just a touch there. It don't take much at 200 miles an hour. When you touch, boy, that's what can happen. You can see visibility back here is impossible for people driving into that wreck.
Dave Marcus almost got through it there.
Here it is again. You see the 59 car, this blue and white one, as he got loose for some reason, gets into one car that gets on by just a little bit.
And here's what Ricky Craven saw.
There's what he couldn't see. When you drive in there, a lot of people don't understand how much smoke comes off these tires when you're spinning round and round.
Let's check with Ralph Shaheen.
Terry, did you save the car by coming in, or is there a problem with the car?
Well, it wouldn't get the speed. We made some changes on it this morning, and it wouldn't accelerate on the start. And so there wasn't no point in me riding around back there. I already had tire marks down both sides, and it looked like they were fixing a wreck. So I thought it'd be wise to come in and save the car for Sunday.
Mike, he'll save the car as far as the body goes, but of course, now remember, he will not have all the information he might want to have as far as race setup for the 500 on Sunday.
We ride under caution with Dale Earnhardt leading Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvin, Mike Skinner, Greg Sachs, and Michael Waltrip, while Darrell Waltrip's number 17 is among 6 contenders taken out in this crash. We'll be back to Daytona after this message and a word from your local station. Garage, where Ralph Shaheen has caught up with rookie Steve Park.
Steve, what happened to you out there?
Well, we just, it looked like someone spun in the tri-oval, and we saw some smoke, and it looked like Darrell got hit from behind and got turned up, and when he come up the racetrack, we got into him a little bit, and at those speeds, you can't make too many good maneuvers to try to avoid it, and we thought we had it cleared for a second, but we ended up getting squeezed in it.
You were pretty close to maybe still making it on your time. Do you think you've got a good enough speed to get in?
Well, we hope so. We rolled the dice the last couple days and re-qualified, and we're able to be the fastest car second round, and hopefully that's going to stand up good enough to get us in the Daytona 500.
Mike, this is a rookie quickly becoming a veteran.
He has the talent to be a good one, Ralph. CBS Sportsline has in-depth coverage, latest news, photos, race recaps, driver bios, and more at cbs.sportsline.com. Ralph's caught up with Darrell Waltrip.
Darrell, can you tell me what happened?
I really don't know. I was down under somebody. No, I was on the outside of somebody. To tell you the truth, I don't remember. Somebody got into me, and I started spinning, and then I guess everything broke loose from there. I can't. You'll have to look at the tape and tell me who started. Somebody started. I don't know who.
You okay?
Oh, I'm fine. It just aggravates me that, you know, you think we could run a qualifying race. It's just a silly little qualifying race. Golly, you got to get in the 500. So it's really just depressing. Car's torn up, and my other car run last Sunday. It's not that good. So we got our work cut out for us now.
Packed house at Daytona for the Gatorade 125s, and the best seat in the house is up inside the Bud 1 airship. Aerial ambassador of the King of Beers. Safety car dives to pit road. Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvin, Mike Skinner, Greg Sachs, the top 5 as we go back to green. Looking back at Rusty Wallace in second place. That car up on the high side was Marcus drifting back, and Billy Standridge, that white 47. 91. Kevin LePage getting sandwiched by Kenny Wallace on the inside, 81, and up on the outside, Andy Hillenberg, 95. Marcus backing up in the high groove as all the lead lap cars work the low side of the racetrack off turn 4. Dick Berggren.
Dave Marcus made a whole bunch of pit stops on that yellow flag, Mike, and you might have thought his crew had gone to some used uniform service to get themselves outfitted for today because there were so many different colors working on it. Larry McReynolds from Earnhardt's car was over there. Ricky Byers from the 22 car was over there working on it, and they finally got that thing so at least the front end is straight, even though the right front fender's missing.
Dave Marcus, a lot of friends in that garage. Marcus in 71. Kevin LePage just got a wake-up call. That purple number 91 just got dinked down to the bottom of the racetrack going into 1.
Did a great job of handling that thing, Mike, because that looked like another wreck there for a moment.
He and Billy Standridge got together. Chevy, Ford, Pontiac, and Chevrolet, the front 4. Kenny Wallace on the inside, that yellow car, second from the Bud Shootout. Trying to work his way up into a qualifying spot here.
You can see Ernie Irvin there in the 3rd spot. He's looking high and low right now. Seems to have a very, very good race car, but right now the front 2 cars are running in tow in the draft, and he really can't make a move.
Let's check with Ralph.
Well, Mike, Dave Marcus might have a lot of friends on pit road, but he lost one out on the racetrack. Ernie Irvin with that car all torn up. Marcus got in front of Irvin on the restart, and the guys in the Skittles crew were not happy about it since Marcus's car is all torn up.
Well, now here's the battle for that 15th and final transfer spot. Kenny Wallace in blue and yellow down on the bottom of the racetrack. Kevin LePage in purple and orange there is hooked up with him. Up on the high side in white, Billy Standridge. Bunch of race fans off the internet sponsoring Standridge's number 47, banding together and pledging funds to try to get him in the 500.
Dad, I'm amazed that Dave Marcus can run that fast with so much damage to the right front corner of that car. He's actually leading these guys down the back straightaway with all that damage.
We said we can't pass him. Let's get behind him and draft him for a little bit.
Right now, it is Kenny Wallace, the youngest of 3 brothers, in the final transfer position, 14th. Up front, 9-car breakaway. There's that train headed for turn 1. That front pack is all veteran drivers but one, Jerry Nadeau. And the Dan Marino, Bill Elliott, number 13, giving a good account of himself, Ned, 7th place.
He's doing a great job, and I'll tell you, he is driving like a veteran there now, and he talks like one, too. I talked to him down in the garage area yesterday, and he knows what he has to do to make the Daytona 500. He has to use his head, be very sensible, not make any radical moves out there, and he's doing that right now. So he's thinking like a veteran.
Buddy, it has to be really tough for a rookie driver to gain the respect of the other drivers so that they will work with him.
Wow, they're dicing it up here as we drop back into the pack. You're right, Mike. The best lessons you can ever get are on the racetrack in this type of condition. But you can see these guys don't care right now. They're trying to get into Daytona 500. They're everywhere, trying to get by Marcus 3 wide going into turn 1.
The bubble car is Standridge, 47. Here's Kyle Petty moving underneath him, and Kenny Wallace trying to get into a qualified spot. Kyle Petty in 44 on the inside.
Kyle stands in pretty good position to get a provisional. If he doesn't get in the top 14 here, his speed would not get him in the Daytona 500 if he does not get in the top 14.
21, making 22 laps complete. Dale Earnhardt continues to hold this field at bay, and Ernie Irvin looked a little racy going down toward turn 1 there in that rainbow-colored number 36.
You're right. He had a thought. It didn't come across, but you can see back in the back, a few of them thought he was going to go, and it made it too wide there.
Uncle Waltrip on the high side.
And on the inside, number 98 in black and red, Greg Sachs, new sponsor for the Cale Yarborough team. New driver, Sachs. Ralph Shaheen.
Mike, the key for Jerry Nadeau right now is not the car. That's perfect. But spotter Scott Hayes. And talking to crew chief Jerry Pitts, he says they've got a great spotter up on the roof, and he is really helping Jerry out on the racetrack, letting him know who is around him and who to stay behind. And that's making a big difference for this young rookie.
Bill Stevens.
Greg Sachs had one of the fastest cars during practice all week. He started up on the grid, but he's fallen back. He lost his draft. Boy, that's been a familiar story today. Also, crew chief Mike Hellman told me they're going to save something for the end of this race. They don't want to do anything silly right now. They've seen enough damage already to some of the other contending cars.
Dale Earnhardt continues to lead. Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvin, Michael Waltrip, Mike Skinner, and rookie Jerry Nadeau.
Sponsored by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the king of beers.
We're 25 laps halfway, and Dale Earnhardt's led every one of them. One caution, a grinding 6-car crash that sent 5 of them to the garage.
Oh, boy. You can almost feel these guys picking up the intensity here. You can see them 2 wide right now. It's going to be 3 wide before very long. But let's give Nadeau a nice call right now. He's in 5th place in the 13 car, a rookie on this racetrack, but he's way ahead of his time. You can see what a great job he's doing today.
There's Jerry Nadeau from Danbury, Connecticut, the former Saab open-wheel racer. Spent a season in Europe running Formula 3000 and then said, if I'm going to race in America, I'm going to race stock cars. And he's currently in 5th place. Ralph?
And Mike, if he can stay right there, he will be the highest finishing rookie on the day. Remember the problems that Kenny Irwin had in qualifying race number 1, and Steve Park already out of this one to Ken Squire.
That Nadeau, that's going to be a team. That's that new Dan Marino, Bill Elliott team. And they're both very high on this guy. As Mike said, did some sports car racing, looked the whole world of motorsports over, and said, I want to be in Winston Cup. And he's proving right now he's got the makings.
Jerry Nadeau, number 13, running in the top 5. Back straightaway. Now, Ned, we might look to see if the more experienced drivers in this group, when somebody moves, will they move away from Jerry Nadeau? They have not done that yet.
They haven't. They know that he has a fast race car, so they're willing to go right along with him, and he has behaved himself very well out there so far. Kyle Petty has dropped off the pace and is coasting down the backstretch.
And there's Kyle Petty, who will get in on a provisional to the Daytona 500. Buddy, when you're in a draft and one car breaks out, how do you decide who to go with?
Well, normally if Earnhardt was to make a bobble right now, if the 2 car in 2nd place there was to make a move, everybody would go with him. That's the biggest thing. No, up front right now, they're very content to run nose to tail, but if somebody makes a move, everybody goes with him.
Here's the fight for last qualified spot. LePage, 91 from the Busch North Series from Shelburne, Vermont, and Greg Sachs from Long Island in 98. They are fighting for the last spot to be decided from this race. And Sandridge is in trouble. He and Brett Bodine got together, and he saved it.
Wow. I'm going to tell you, he got the Attaboy Award. Look at the right side. A lot of damage there. Tires rubbing. How he saved that car, I don't have a clue.
Great piece of driving. But I'm afraid he's out of the running here now because he has too much damage inside of that car.
Billy Standridge may be headed for pit road.
Mike, that whole right side of that car is on the tires right now. He'll have to come in. I'm sure it'll cut a tire down before too long.
Yeah, his crew needs to bring him in with those tires rubbing. That's where that smoke was coming from. Those tires are very thin.
Let's have another look at what happened coming off turn 4 between Brett Bodine on the outside and Billy Standridge.
Standridge just gets loose under him there. Almost, well, when they make the contact coming off turn 4. Look at Standridge now. This is where he was really in trouble. What a great job of driving.
Up front, 2 Chevys bracket 2 Fords. Will it be Earnhardt, Wallace, Waltrip, or Skinner? We'll find out after this. Fords celebrates NASCAR's 50th anniversary season, remembering its first Winston Cup champion. When Red Byron won it in 1949, they called them strictly stocks. He finished 3rd at the old Charlotte Speedway on dirt in the first race and got his first victory here on the sands of Daytona in July. 2 wins and 4 top 5 finishes in those 6 races earned Red Byron $5,800. Michael Waltrip, the orange number 21, has moved into 2nd place between the 2 Childress Chevrolet of Earnhardt, number 3, and Skinner, 31.
Okay, he just made a move on the outside there to see what the 31 car was going to do. Was he going with him or was he going to work with his teammate? He went up there. He said, you know what? Mike Skinner's going to stay with his teammate. I better get back out.
Yeah, I think he was sort of testing them out there. Let's see what they might do.
Well, it may come to an intramural battle between the 2 Chevys against the 2 Fords, as now Rusty Wallace has Ernie Irvin going past on the outside.
And Jeff Burton there in the 99 car beginning to show a little muscle too as he goes by Wallace down the back straightaway.
You saw Rusty get back in line just as quickly as he could. You knew those two cars were already gone.
And here's Dick Bergman.
Lots of conversation to Mike Skinner from his teammates' pit and also from his own pit. They are warning him, make sure you don't help Rusty win this race. Make sure you don't help that 21 get by Dale Earnhardt. And he said, I'm just trying to get by the 21 myself, but in all this drafting stuff, man, almost anything can happen. Ralph?
Dick, Michael Waltrip really hadn't been a player all week long. But yesterday in the final practice session with just a half an hour to go, they made a gear change in the 21 car, and suddenly Michael Waltrip is in contention to win here today. One gear change has made the difference and put this team in a position to win.
6 cars with a little distance on the field. Chevy, Ford, Chevy, Pontiac, Ford.
Waltrip knows that he's sitting in a position there that it's going to be hard to pass Dale Earnhardt because he's not going to get the help from Earnhardt's teammate.
The one thing that might come into play here, if Ernie Irvin can get up in position there, he and Waltrip may make it tough on everybody, but you can see right now that Ernie Irvin's dropped back about a car length now. Jeff Burton might be a player also sitting there in 5th.
There are 13 cars in this lead draft. Every position you gain means you start 1 row further forward Sunday in the Daytona 500. Bill Stevens.
It looks like Jeff Burton is beginning to be a player here, and the reason is his crew chief, Frank Stoddard, told him at the beginning of the race, the way that car is set up, it's going to get better the later it gets. Jeff was a little concerned early. Right now, he's got a lot of race car under his right foot.
Joe Nemechek has lost that lead draft. He's in 13th position. Jerry Nadeau 12th. And Skinner has a look a little bit high on the racetrack. Not much there. Drops right back down to the bottom.
They keep feeling each other out. See where they might make a move and where they might not be able to. They don't want to lose what they got, but they'd like to get someone one step in front of them.
Well, Ned, one thing they don't want to do is get side by side right now, because right now they need to stay in position. If you're going to make that move, make it late.
Leaders off turn 4, 3 wide for an instant just behind them as Jeff Burton went all the way to the wall to try to work high around the outside of Lake Speed. And he did.
Good break for Rusty Wallace as he was able to move right on around out on the inside.
6 more circuits to decide the starting spots for Sunday's Daytona 500. And there's that battle that goes on. Well back of the leaders, but every bit as important. Robert Presley in 77. Kenny Wallace, runner-up for the Busch Shootout in 81. And one of them will make it.
Yeah, Presley wondering what I'm going to do to keep behind him. Wallace wondering what I'm going to do to get by him. As we're back up front here now.
All right, buddy. Professor Baker of the Buck Baker Driving School. If you're Michael Waltrip is your student, what do you tell him to do?
Well, it depends. He may be satisfied with just what he's doing right now and making that move and hoping that Ernie Irvin and maybe Rusty Wallace may come into this play right now. But you see Jeff Burton, he dropped way back. Now he's running this group back down. He's not over with his little act today yet. That car is really working well. We know that near the end of the race, Jeff Burton's always a factor if he's anywhere close to the front.
Ralph?
Mike, Rusty Wallace's blue and white number 2 has gotten a little bit looser here, but he is able to go better when he runs with Ernie Irvin just in front of him, and he's been able to close up on Ernie. They're going to try to go low, maybe, and go after the leaders in front of him.
Well, they'll have to find somewhere new if they go low to get under what I see from right now. I'm going to tell you right now, Dale Earnhardt's about as low as you can get in the corner. He's been right down on the bottom. You can see the white line there. That's the divider between the flat part of the apron and the racetrack, and he's nailed to it through the corner.
3.5 laps to go. Dale Earnhardt, 10-time winner of the qualifying race. Don't have to remind you, he's not won the Daytona 500. teammate Mike Skinner. Now, Skinner in third place there, that 31 car. Is he standing guard for Earnhardt?
I think he's running his own race right now. I think he does not want to do anything that's going to really distract from Earnhardt winning the race. But he would like to win it himself, I'm sure.
Dick Berggren.
He would like to win it himself, buddy, but the car is not handling as well as it had earlier. He has picked up a push in that thing, and it will not run as well as he wants it to.
That's Skinner, the third place car.
And he knows he's going to have a good starting position in the Daytona 500. He'd be foolish to do anything unless he knows that he can make it work.
Look at this Congo line going down the back straightaway here. What they're doing is making sure they're staying in the draft there. They don't want anybody to close up, maybe get an aerodynamic advantage down the back straightaway.
Ralph?
Well, the last conversation between crews of the 36 and the 2 is let's hook up and go to the high side as we come to the finish. To Bill Steven.
Yeah, well, you know, the fact that Mike Skinner's pushing has not been lost on that number 3 car. Dale Earnhardt just said to his crew chief, Larry McReynolds, the 21 car will not win the race. He's not going to get the help he needs to get around me.
To help Michael Waltrip with that orange car, you'd have to get up to it, and Skinner is not going to help. We've established that. 2 laps to go. It'll have to be either Ernie Irvin in the number 36 or Jeff Burton in 99 or the 2 of Rusty Wallace.
He had a thought there. You see Earnhardt driving to the bottom, zigzagging across the back there. At one time there, Michael Waltrip tried the outside and couldn't make it happen.
Trouble down toward turn 1. A car goes spinning through the grass. Loy Allen Jr.
Caution, this could be the last lap. They're coming around for the white flag.
And they'll race to the caution. This will be the last lap in competition as they come to the caution flag. Earnhardt wins it again. Michael Waltrip, Mike Skinner, Ernie Irvin, Rusty Wallace, and Jeff Burton. Now, here's the battle for 14th coming to the line. Robert Presley nails down the final transfer spot and denies Kenny Wallace. Loy Allen is okay after his car went spinning through the grass off Wallace's bumper. And Dale Earnhardt, once again, every single time in the 1990s, he's won this 125-mile qualifying race. Michael Waltrip finishes second and Mike Skinner third, and a strong run for 2 of the rookies, Kevin LePage in 9th and Jerry Nadeau in 12th. Now, from Kenny Wallace on back in 15th, each of these drivers will have to depend on either a qualifying speed or their car owner's provisional points to try and get them in the Daytona 500, except for Terry Labonte. He'll start on the front row. Dale Earnhardt has won 11 of these qualifying races, but still seeks his first victory in Sunday's Daytona 500. Dick Berggren's with him in victory lane.
Well, for the 30th time in his career, Dale Earnhardt drives into victory lane at Daytona, but it's been a while since you've driven into a victory lane. Does it feel pretty good today?
Well, this is where it ended last year, so we can start up here again this year. So it's a good race car, I tell you. It feels good. I got to thank Jim Goodrich and all Richard Childers' team. The whole race team worked awful hard. They didn't give up on us when we was having trouble last year, and they just rebounded. I think we got a great race team for this year. All other sponsors that come on board and helped us out, we appreciate it. Food City, Snap-on, all those guys. It's just a good job for us. Coca-Cola's come on with us this year, so we got a lot of things going for this Chevrolet and AC Delco and Bass Pro Shops. Everybody's worked hard for us. Here we are in victory lane.
And your fans never gave up on you either. What can you tell them about what to expect from Dale Earnhardt in the Daytona 500?
Same thing. This is a good race car, and this is the car we're going to race there. We got an even better engine for the Daytona 500, so we're looking forward to Sunday's race.
Going to win it?
Going to win it.
Well, a bold statement for the 7-time NASCAR champ. We'll be right back to Daytona.
NASCAR's 50th anniversary. CBS Sports coverage of the Gatorade 125s at Daytona is sponsored by Gatorade Thirst Quencher, the official sports beverage of NASCAR. Hey, life is a sport. Drink it up. Ford, makers of vehicles that are built to last. And by Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR.
As what appears to be a record crowd continues to filter into the 2.5-mile Daytona International Speedway, what a day we have. It started out as gray as the pavement around this 2.5-mile track. Now it looks like blue skies and green lights all the way through the weekend. What a win for Earnhardt. And just imagine, since 1990, every 125-mile qualifying race he's been in, he's won. 30 races in all here, but never the 500. He is the issue for tomorrow's running of the 40th annual Great American Race. How do the experts see who's going to win it? How is Earnhardt going to fare? Well, let's go right now to those experts and start with Mike Joy.
Ken, as you might imagine, there's no agreement up here in the booth. Now,